Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another build video in The Sims 4. So today I'm building a beach house in the world of Sulani, of course, which is the world that we got with the Island Living expansion pack. It is my all-time favorite world to build in, and it has been a minute since I did a build here, so I'm super excited for this one. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. But we're building a little beach house. So this is actually for one of my Sims, but I feel like it's not a super specific build. Like, I feel like it could work for a lot of people. There's a few things that are kind of specific to my Sims in particular, but for the most part, I feel like this is kind of a new little household and they don't have a huge amount of personality. And so this house could definitely work for different people in different households. You could add stuff, change stuff around and make it work for you. But if you guys watch my Zodiac Challenge Let's Play, I'm actually building this for my Sim named Erilyn. So Erilyn was married to my Gemini Sim, Castor, and she is now his ex-wife. They are no longer together. The marriage did not end happily ever after. He actually had an affair and they got a very dramatic divorce. But before the divorce, she actually had 2 children with him. So she had Waverly, who is a teenager, and Summer, who is currently a toddler. And Waverly in my Let's Play has actually been living with her father because she is going to be the next generation heir. She's going to be my Cancer sign Sim. And so I needed her to be in the active household, but Erilyn and Summer had been moved out, and I've been meaning to get around to building her a house, and I just haven't had a chance to do it. But I did kind of want to build a beach house because I feel like the marriage was a bit toxic, the whole situation, and maybe she would kind of want to run away from the city and get away from everything and everybody, kind of get as far away from it all as possible. And I felt like the islands of Sulani would be a good place to do that. Also, Waverly is my Cancer Sim, so she's a water sign, and I thought it might be nice to live on the beach because I don't know exactly where she's going to live when she becomes an adult. She actually can't move out from her parents' house until she is married. So it kind of depends on who we marry. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I don't think we're going to have a lot of say-so in where she lives. So I just wanted to go on and live on the beach. We haven't had a Sim live in Sulani yet in this Let's Play. I've only done one other water sign so far, and it was Pisces, and we lived in Brindleton Bay. So I just felt like it'd be a good time to move to Sulani. I mean, there's a potential that none of my Sims will ever live here. So I decided to take advantage of Erilyn's bitter divorce and start a new life at the beach. But anyway, we're building a 3-bedroom house. Okay, so Erilyn has a bedroom. Hers would kind of be the master bedroom, I feel like, but hers is actually on the first floor. And because there's only 2 bathrooms in this house, there isn't an ensuite attached to that one. So I feel like it's a bit of a weird situation because up on the second floor is Waverly's bedroom. And I went on and fit in a second bathroom because I had the space for it. And it's always handy to have more than one bathroom, especially when you have more than one Sim because stuff breaks and then it's a whole situation. But there is an ensuite attached to the bathroom on the second floor. So I feel like it makes it seem like that's the master bedroom, but it really wasn't meant to be. I meant for the bedroom on the first floor to be the master bedroom. And then little Summer has a toddler room as well, which you actually can see on the screen right now, this little bump out that I'm kind of landscaping around. That is Summer's room. So it's very small. So even though it's a 3-bedroom house, I feel like Summer's room is quite a small bedroom, but I feel like you wouldn't want to put like a teenager in that room. You definitely wouldn't want to use that for an adult Sim just because it's very, very tiny. And I actually was going to do a little bit of a patio area up above Summer's room, and then I forgot about it. So if you guys just noticed that I was trying to put some fencing down and I was going to see if I could put it over here because I didn't want to redo my landscaping, but it didn't work. I didn't feel like it looked very good, so I just got rid of it. But there is going to be a little patio area with a pool, which I debated the pool. I didn't really want to put a pool in this build because we are so close to the ocean that I didn't feel like it totally made sense. But there's a lot of side yard with this lot, and I felt like I needed to fill it in. And I actually thought about doing just like playground equipment, like a swing set, and then the jungle gym, the pirate ship jungle gym. I hardly ever use those in my houses, or like any residential houses, to be honest, because they're so big and they're quite expensive as well. But I decided not to use it because I don't actually have anyone in the household right now that's a kid that can use it. So one of my Sims just became a teenager, and then one of them is still a toddler. I mean, she'll be a child very soon, but I don't know. I felt like the pool would be something that more of the household could use rather than just a jungle gym, a random jungle gym that we weren't going to be using that often, and my Sim would be too old to use it soon enough. So I decided not to do that, but I do think it would look good on this lot. But I'm working on the pool area right now, and I really do like the way this turned out. It's a small pool, so I think that makes up for the fact that we live on the ocean and we don't actually need a pool because it's very tiny. There's not much that you could do here in this pool. Like if you actually wanted to go swimming, you'd be better off to go to the ocean. But this little area is a bit funny. I will tell you guys this. When I was playtesting it, I didn't really expect to have a lot of trouble with this house. There were a few places in the house that I felt like I might have had too much clutter around the bed, and I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to get around it. So I had a few spots that I thought might be a problem and I would have to kind of fix it. But I didn't expect this area to give me any kind of problems. But when I go to playtest it, my Sim tells me he can't walk up these stairs. So you guys see the little stairs I have coming off of the patio. He says he can't walk up them. And I felt like it was a bit bizarre, but he said he couldn't get up them because of the flower pot, which I always love it when my Sims at least give me a reason that they can't do what I'm asking them to do, because at least then I know what I need to change, other than the times when they just wave up their hand and they say they can't do it, but you have no idea why. So at least he was giving me something to work with, but he says he can't do it because of the little flower pots, the group of 3 of them right there by the pool. He says he can't climb the stairs because of the flower pots, which I felt like was a bit dramatic, but I start trying to tweak them, move them around, kind of get them out of his way. So I'm moving them further away from the stairs. Well, finally, he decides he's gonna go up on the patio, like the functionality issue is over. But instead of jumping up on the stairs, he climbs the foundation. And I did not know that Sims could even come up a foundation this high. This is not a platform. This is a straight up foundation. I felt like you had to have stairs for Sims to be able to climb a foundation. But I am telling you guys, in that little tiny area right now where the flower pots are, he climbs up there right in front of the steps, and he sits on the side of the foundation, gets into the pool, and then gets out of the pool and he's up on the patio, which is not great. It's functional, but it's not ideal. Like, I didn't want to leave it like that. But overall, I found that absolutely bizarre. I did not know that they could do that, but he just jumped right up on that pool and swam through the pool to get to the patio. And I don't even know, honestly, I don't know what I did to make the stairs functional. I kept moving stuff around. I think I had to kind of move the little grass over that's underneath the stairs, which I had some issues with the landscaping. So when you guys get this build off the gallery, if you do want to get it off the gallery, it will look a bit different because I had to mess with the landscaping a little bit. I knew there was one item of landscaping that I was using that would cause functionality issues. I knew it was a possibility, and it did. So I had to get rid of the grass that mostly is under the house. You really don't even notice it. You have to have the camera almost level with the ground to actually notice any of the landscaping that I had to get rid of. But there was a couple of places where I didn't really expect to have any issues, and I kind of had to move stuff away from the house. So that was a whole situation. But anyway, I did get the stairs to be functional, but the first time that he used them, he walked down them. And then when I wanted him to get back on the patio, because I was trying to make sure that everything else was functional, so I needed him to come and use other items, he did the same thing. He tried to jump on the pool again, which it's just weird. But eventually I did get it to where he was using the stairs instead of the side of the pool. I think I actually had to move the flower pots back closer to the pool to stop that being functional so that he would redirect through the stairs. But that was a whole situation, and I didn't really expect it to be. I genuinely didn't. Another part of this build that I don't particularly like is actually right here. You guys can see it. So I have a little ladder that's in the kitchen. That's the only way that your Sims can climb up to the second floor. I wasn't able to fit stairs into this build because of the way I did the floor plan. It's a small house, and I wanted the front door. There's only one door, so I guess it's the only door. But I wanted it to open into the kitchen. When you come into the house, I wanted my Sims to be in the kitchen because the Sim that's going to be living here for me loves to cook. It's a huge part of her personality. When she moved into my household the first time, she had the master chef aspiration. So I put her in the culinary career as well. And then she developed the foodie trait. And just overall, it's just a massive part of her personality. I feel like when I think about the Sim, that's what I think about, is that she loves to cook. So I wanted to have a really nice kitchen. I mean, this one's quite small, but I feel like it's still nice. I also tried to make it look very lived in because she is a single mom to 2 kids. So I wanted there to be a lot of clutter around, and like I used the little unicorn thing from the Growing Together pack up on the counter, which I wouldn't typically use that as kitchen clutter. But I was kind of thinking maybe her daughter has come and handed that to her, or one of her kids throughout the years while she's trying to cook. Someone's come and handed her their little crafts that they've been working on. I used a bunch of those little things from Growing Together because there's like a unicorn, a horse, and then one that I'm gonna say it's a windmill. I don't really know what it's supposed to be, but that's what it makes me think of. It's a little windmill thing. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if you don't. But I did try to put a ton of clutter. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, she's a dog lover. Erlen's a dog lover. And I don't actually plan on adopting a dog while my Sims are going to be living here. My Sim. Because I don't want a dog. I tried to have a dog a couple generations back in my Let's Play series. And it was the first time I had ever had a dog in the game. And I didn't enjoy it. I thought I would. I thought it would be really fun, but they don't take care of themselves as well as cats do. So you have to bathe them. I didn't know you had to bathe them. And the dog that my Gemini Sim just adopted, you actually have to brush him as well because he's a bit of a longer hair dog, I suppose. My other one was short hair, so at least we didn't have to do that. And then also you have to take them on walks. And the trouble with the walks is that they don't work. Because I don't mind taking my dogs for a walk in the game. I think it's actually quite nice. But for me, for some reason, it just wasn't super functional. And my Sims would kind of get stuck out in the middle of nowhere. And they didn't know what to do. And they couldn't seem to get themselves out of the situation. So I just don't particularly like having a dog in my active household. But I don't have a problem with my other Sims having dogs as long as I don't have to be the one to take care of it. So I did put a lot of dog stuff so that when my Sim moves out, we can get Erlen a dog and she can live out her dreams of having a little puppy hanging around. And so I put a pet toy box outside. You guys may have noticed that. It's close to the stairs by the pool. And then there's a pet bowl feeder up on the front porch. That was actually an afterthought. I completely forgot to put in a feeder and I had nowhere to put it in the kitchen. I mean, this house is pretty jam-packed, full of furniture and clutter, and most of it is necessary stuff. Like there wasn't anything that I wanted to get rid of. So I had to go back and put it on the front porch. I mean, the front porch is covered, so I feel like it's fine. But there is a little pet bowl out there in front of the rocking chairs. And I couldn't get my little puppy that I was playtesting with, I couldn't get him to eat out of it. But my Sim could fill up the bowl. So I think it's functional. I don't think it's going to be an issue. But I adopted a little dog named Cinnamon just to playtest this house. And she wasn't very cooperative. She wouldn't lay in the bed. She wouldn't try the pet bowl feeder. So she wasn't super helpful. Although now that I'm saying all this out loud, I think I've just realized that she probably couldn't climb the stairs because she was a puppy. So that is my bad. See, this is why I shouldn't own a dog in The Sims, because I didn't even think about the fact that she was too little to climb up the stairs. So that's probably why she didn't do anything I was asking her to do. But I think it's fine because, like I said, my playtesting Sim was able to fill the bowl up. So I think it's going to work fine. I don't know about the pet bed. There's a teeny tiny little pet bed in this room right here besides the major bed, the big bed. And the major bed, what does that even mean? But yeah, there's a teeny tiny little pet bed. I actually changed it back to a lemon, I think. Originally, I start trying to put one of the more colorful beds down from the My First Pet stuff. And I know people don't really like that pack very much, and that was going to be the only thing that I used from that pack. So I started second guessing myself, and I got one of the pet beds from Cats and Dogs instead. But I just didn't like it very much. I feel like it was so bland, and I didn't really notice it, and it kind of blended in with the rest of the room, which maybe some people would like that. But I changed it back to the orange slice, I think. Now that I'm looking at it on the screen, I feel like that's what I changed it back to. But either way, it was something more colorful and fun, and I feel like it looks a bit better, but I don't know if it's functional. But this bedroom right here, this is Erilyn's room. So I put a little picture of oranges as well, which I wouldn't typically put into a bedroom, but like I said, being a chef, cooking, that's a huge part of her life. She's actually got 6 traits because she has been a sim that's been in my active household, so she got some bonus traits or whatever they are. So she's skeptical, she's jealous, which is unfortunate for her because her spouse had an affair on her. But she's also a dog lover, she's squeamish, she's cheerful, and she's a foodie. So food is just a big part of her life. And I put these little decorations right here beside that little couch. I put some clutter, like, what do you call those things? File boxes, maybe, like these little storage boxes. And then I put some of the notebook clutter from high school years. I think it's called study stacks or something like that. But I put that down because I was thinking, she's kind of still in the middle of this divorce. Like, technically she's divorced, but maybe she's got all these documents and stuff because she's been trying to get custody of her kids. And I don't know, I struggled with the clutter for her a little bit because, like I said, she just doesn't have a super big personality. Most of her personality comes with the kitchen. So I struggled a little bit trying to figure out what to do in her room. So I thought that was a cool detail, that maybe that's some of her stuff that she needs to keep track of for her lawyer or something like that. Something to do with the divorce. But I did have some issues with the beds. I think I mentioned that I was afraid that I had too much clutter around the beds. And I did. I had too much clutter in that room in particular. I was actually worried about this one as well, but that was the one that gave me issues. And I don't like to have one of the bed sides not be functional. I know it's not that big of a deal. Like, if you have a double bed and you push it up against the wall, technically one side isn't functional, but your Sims can scooch over to that side of the bed. And so technically speaking, it is functional. But I don't really like doing that because it makes the gameplay a little bit more complicated. It's difficult to woohoo. I don't even know if your Sims can woohoo if the bed's pushed up against the wall like that, because they have to have a conversation about it before they actually go to the bed. So it's not something you can do once you get them scooched over into the bed. So I just don't really like doing that. And it was the side of the bed that was closest to the wall that was giving me issues because of the dresser and just clutter. I had too much clutter. It was my bad. But I just kept moving stuff around until it finally started working. So everything ended up being functional. I don't think there's any issues. Like I said, I'm not totally sure about the pet stuff because I was not thinking about my poor little cinnamon dog not being able to climb the stairs. So I don't know about that stuff. But this last bedroom is actually going to be Waverly's bedroom. If you guys are familiar with the Zodiac challenge, this is where she's going to be living. I've kind of changed her color scheme around a little bit. It's more purple now with a bit of blue, but I love the way her bedroom turned out. I feel like it looks so good. It's not very gloomy. She's gloomy and she's jealous right now. She's a teenager, so she only has 2 traits. And I don't feel like this room looks gloomy, but I wanted it to be fun. I didn't want to do another gloomy bedroom. I feel like her childhood bedroom was very gloomy. So I wanted to kind of move away from that, and I'm so happy with the way it turned out. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the way this house looks in the end. I am super happy with it. I'm so excited to start the next generation of my Let's Play. But if you guys do want to get it off the gallery, it is completely play tested. It's functional. You shouldn't have any issues. And my gallery ID is Sims with Sarah, and I try to use the same hashtag as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about this build down below in the comments, because I always love hearing from you guys. And I will see you very soon with another video. But that is all for this one, so bye guys.